welcome back to another episode. Tonight we got the MCPON letters. Yeah, MCPON have been dropping some heat on the Chiefs mess. We're gonna go through these letters, right? I just got back from underway on Sunday evening. I'm on leave now before we deploy again, and these letters dropped to these first two letters dropped to 24 July, and I immediately I printed them out. I was in the office, printed them out. Immediately started highlighting and putting notes down, figuring I'd want to make an episode. I've been scratching my head about this episode though, and like how I wanted to approach it because then we talked about it in the mess, and I probably had like a gut emotional reaction to some stuff that was said. So we're gonna get into it. I'm like, some of it is good, some of it's, I don't know if bad is a word, but if it's the opposite of good, it got to be bad. But some of it's just not. It's not on point with me. Okay, I'm just speaking for me. Excuse my drink, as I often say at the end of when I have the disclaimer. I'm only speaking for myself. So I'm just gonna go through what the instincts and the feelings and the reactions and things that went through my mind as a chief when I read this from the MCPON, James Honea, right? And I even look, man. I'm trying to upgrade here, so we could hit the screen share. Boom, letter number 1. All right. Oh, scrolling up on the wrong thing here. All right, Chief Petty Officer, call to action. I'm trying to get through some of this fast. I might cut this to 3 parts since it's 3 letters out right now, with the 4th one expected probably next week sometime. I spent the first year as Master Chief Petty Officer Navy setting the pace for change and communicating that need. As a pivot into the second year of the office, we must see action that drives our desired outcomes. I need every chief to help drive these outcomes, as you are the linchpin to this necessary change. I know someone in the mess immediately did not like the spelling of linchpin. You can see it there on the screen how they spelled it. I guess there's 2 ways to spell it, and I guess this is the less desirable way, which is, I didn't know that was a thing, but like, we know what lynching is and what it indicates, and it's typically not a good thing. So I guess maybe to some chiefs, maybe that was a fucking oops right there, right? Like whoever edited the letter. I'm like, again, I got the notes down here on mine. So I'm like looking down this as I read it, right? So things that I highlighted in this first paragraph: setting the pace for change and communicating that need. I just, simple question, like how, like what was the pace for, like, it's just, oh man, I would like, you spend the first year. I mean, he spent the year traveling, doing all hands calls, getting around the fleet, getting feedback, obviously, right? And from that feedback, he's gotten a bunch of stuff to give out to the mess. And they're posting these letters on Instagram. They're posting them on Reddit. They're posting them all over the places where, like, the Gen Z and even millennials like myself, like, are, so we could read it. And I know there's a lot of feedback coming back, like, oh, great, he's showing transparency and stuff. All right, cool. I don't care if you read that. Like, if anyone, I sit down with my sailors and go over these letters to let them know what the MCPON is expecting of me, expecting of the Chiefs mess, what they should expect of me, and then what they should expect of themselves, because one day they will be in khakis. I say khakis purposefully, not just Chiefs, because, what if they go LDO? What if they go warrant? What they're going to be in khakis one day, right? So it's important for them to read this stuff now, get that training now, be ready for it when the day comes, right? But back to the letters, setting the pace for change and communicating that need. Like, what I just don't understand what that means. What is a pace for change, right? I've not seen, I guess there's some stuff out there, and there's some new nav admins and stuff, but like, if I step on deck and I say, hey, in the last 3 months, my first 3 months on board, I've set the pace for change, that means I've rewritten instructions. I've done away with bullshit. I've listened, like, it's like on a smaller scale than what he did, so maybe it just takes longer for him to enact because he's trying to go Navy wide. But if it's a whole year, right, so his office is going to be 3-4 years or something, right? So I just don't, again, the words thing of setting the pace for change, like, I don't necessarily agree 100%, right? Not in the way I read that. and communicating that need. Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of communication, right? Again, all hands calls, getting feedback, giving answers to stuff, compiling it all, right? But like again, to me, we're a little early on the setting the pace for change. Okay, and the desired outcomes, like what are and I guess this is going to be spelled out in the letter. This is what I wrote down. Like in the letters to come, we're going to have these desired outcomes. But to jump ahead just a little bit, right? The 3 letters that he talks about: warfighting competency, professional and personal development, and quality of life. To me, those are not outcomes. Those are just areas that we should be looking at. What is the desired outcome for those, right? Quality, and it shouldn't really be directed. It should be directed to us, but in a sense of like, how are we going to direct and get our sailors there? Quality of life, right? Everyone knows there's these pay issues. Fucking, people on my command have them all the time, right? So if that's a quality of life issue, I can track it. I can, hey, let me see your LES every month, right? Okay, hey, Command Senior Chief, CMC, XO, CO, these are all the pay issues, and they get routed up, and it takes 3 months to fix. I cannot directly impact but report. And yes, it needs to be reported, but when you say desired outcomes of all these things, what is that? How about the desired outcome should be there should be no fucking pay issues at all, right? The desired outcome is that when there's a pay issue and my sailor tells me that it's fixed by the next paycheck or within 1 month pay cycle. That should be to me be the clear headline in all bold, right, of the outcome. And that shouldn't be to me. And maybe it is. Maybe that's being directed to that CMC and the My Navy HR or the PSD of the fucking world or something, right? But if we're communicating to the entire mess, like that should be part of it too, right? Like my desired outcome is no more pay issues, and this is how we're doing it. And again, he in some sense he has to speak general because he's speaking to such a wide audience, but I'm always just looking for specifics, I guess. All right, let's get on to the next paragraph here. Let's go to that screen share. All right. In the 3 supporting letters, which will be released over the next several weeks, I will provide detail into each of my priorities: warfighting competency, professional and personal development, and quality of life, as a call to action for each chief petty officer. We need to be actively engaged in the development of our sailors as well as their well-being. Each letter will include actionable items for you, as I previously stated. Chiefs must drive outcomes and not create activity for the sake of activity. Woo! Okay, let's get into first one, released over the next several weeks. If you say several weeks, I think that's more than a month. And to me, what takes so long to communicate these things? If you already know the titles of them, that means they're already being generated. So are you just doing a timed release so we can digest each letter in itself? Again, I'm like, I guess you could say you're nitpicking. Okay, maybe I am, but why don't you just fucking shotgun blast us to the face and tell us to get the shit together, right? I don't need to be led on for weeks to try to figure out the first, for week 1. Okay, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to digest this? But that's just me. Maybe other chiefs do. If you're a chief that needs several weeks to digest what the fuck your job needs to be doing, yeah, these letters are for you. All right, we jump down. I highlighted as well as their well-being, right, in the section here, and I wrote, so sailors. So this is something that started happening midway through my career, right? They should care more. They should care most, and we should have tools to support. So a big push of why we don't have PSDs and why we do our own page 2s and red DAs and all this shit and why it's all fucked up is because I'd say like 2010-ish, right? Maybe a little bit earlier, but definitely 2010-ish is when there's like that big push for like, you're going to be your own you're going to be your own admin. You're going to be your own advocate, right? You should be the leader of yourself first and foremost, and you got to take care of all this stuff yourself. Right, we're going to go so electronic that you're going to be able to do it all by yourself. And it's not the case. 2 parts. 1, you still need people in those jobs to fix shit when it's fucked up. 2, we're not the fucking experts on it. That's why you have ratings for it. 3, your systems don't fucking work. Right? If you want us to do all these things ourselves, then give me a fucking app that works with everything, that everything's integrated into one website, one place, and they're working on it. But you cannot fucking do away with shit before the final project is done. And that's what they did. It's been acknowledged that they did away with PSDs too early. There's several other problems in there. But how can like I said, if a sailor should care about their well-being the most, I should not care about a sailor more than you care about yourself, right? Why? Because I wear a different uniform? No, like you should care most about yourself. And I'm not even talking about the admin. I'm talking about like health-wise and everything else, and admin included, right? But if I don't have the tools to go get your pay issue fixed immediately, then how does it look like I care about you at all? If I have a sailor that's had pay issues for 6 months and they've told me, I'm like, yeah, man, we're tracking. Command's tracking. Not just me, but ISIC. ISIC is tracking. And it takes 6-7 months to fix? You think they're looking at me like, oh, Chief really cares about me? No, they're thinking that the Navy, quote, big Navy does not give a fuck because big Navy has not paid their ass, right? And they're owed back pay of $2,000. You know what I mean? So like sure, like we care about their well-being in different instances in different ways. They should care about the most, but how can it's all just lip service if we're just saying, yeah, we care about you, but I don't have no tools to fucking do it when you really need me to about the most important things like money and your paycheck and the bank account so shit gets paid for, right? I had not create activity for the sake of activity. Far too often the case. Why? So as we look at that one, right? It is often the case, right? I would like to hope I don't do it. My sailors will probably be like, yes, you do. I'm sorry. You think it's for the sake of sakeness, right? But like, and that gets into something else I seen right today, as we were talking about some of these letters is like, we'll get to the third one here in a minute. I guess we'll cover that there. But like, not create activity for the sake of activity. Sure, there are chiefs out there that do that, right? There's officers out there that do that. There's captains, okay, that do that. And let's remember how chain of command works. If you're on a ship or anywhere, right, shit rolls downhill. A lot of times that activity that I'm creating isn't for the sake of just having fucking activity. It's for the sake of this is what the command is trying to do and go. And now I have to do this extra thing. I have to have this extra field day. I got to get you out there in that fucking part of the ship because that VIP is fucking coming on board. And now we want to do cleaning stations and make it look prettier than what it is, right? Let's put the lipstick on the fucking pig, right? It's not, that's not me. That's me driving the fucking captain's desired outcomes. I could push back. I could say, XO, hey, that's pretty fucking stupid. Why don't we just show them how the ship really looks so maybe we could get the fucking assistance that we need? And they go, thanks for your input, Chief. So execute in accordance with the POD. I go, aye. All right. Like, that's not being a yes man. That's like you fucking voice your opinion and then it's following orders. So I think, again, and when you release this, and I'm all for releasing it, letting everyone read it, but when you release it to the mass and they see that, it does kind of put like a fucking, oh yeah, it's just chiefs that fucking create and make up shit just to make up shit. When I think everyone should know that that's not always the case. Sometimes the case, sure. And maybe that's where that, you got to tell them the why behind it. Why? Because the fucking captain said so, and that's what he wants today. So guess what we got to fucking do? We got to go fucking do it. And guess who else would like to be home with their family? Me. But guess what? I'm fucking here with you instead of being at home with my family. So it's not me driving activity for sake of activity. It's me driving captain's fucking wants for whatever it is, right? And sometimes it's actual mission. And if it's actual mission, then hell yeah, sailors should understand why the fuck we're here at 1600 running drills, right? But other times it's pushed down. It's not just us all the time fucking creating shit. And the way I read this is when it's thrown out there, it's like it kind of puts it's just them fucking chiefs, man. They're always just coming up with shit, right? And it kind of fucking, I don't know. I kind of don't like it, But again, like, hey, some people do. We've all had those chiefs that's like, no. Got to stay here. Got to be here all day long. 1600. Nope. Got to do 1600 at least, 1630, right? I got to be the last one out here. If I could walk out at the same time the captain does, or he sees me walking out, then he'll know that I was in here late. Everyone's had an officer or a divo or a DH like that. No. Hold on. Right? They got to see me leaving. I got to send that email late so everyone knows that I'm working. Fuck that. All right, let's get on to the next one. Bum, bum, bum. I ask that you read these letters, that you take time to examine yourself, to hold yourself accountable, to hold ourselves accountable as a collective mess, and as well as the individual chiefs within the mess. I ask, me, Josh, that you read these letters to your division, and you take your time to have your division examine you, and for your division to hold you accountable, right? And then after that, hold yourself accountable to your division. Just audible in that. Not, again, this isn't to say he's wrong in what he's saying, but like, it's one of those, if the messaging is out here, right? This is what I look at it like, right? He's engaging in the what are we, 21st century, right? In social media and everything like this. So if we're going to engage in that, your message has to be also contoured towards that, right? And because sailors don't want to see like, oh, he's talking to the fucking Chiefs mess. Ooh, we get to see what he said to the Chiefs mess. Right around they go, oh, cool. It doesn't fucking mean nothing. It's just letters, right? There's no action behind it. But if you say like, hey, Chiefs, you should be talking to your divisions about this shit, sitting down with these letters, going through them, getting their expectations, feedback, conversation, and then that's what's actually going to make us better, right? And make things known to us. Then to me that's a little bit better messaging, because this is all like, it's all tactics of the social media world that they're like engaging in. Going back to the first paragraph, right? Setting the pace for change and communicating. Well, then one of the communications in this should have been that part, and I think that paragraph 3 on letter 1, right, would have been the perfect place to do that. A call to action, Chiefs. When these letters are all done every week, I expect you to be talking to your sailors about them. I expect you to hold yourself accountable to your division and getting them what the fuck they need, which is warfighting competency, professional and personal development, and quality of life. And then to me, that would have been something more actionable. And this isn't like Monday morning quarterbacking, but like that would have been more actionable. And then it would have put a lot more onus on us, the mess, to like, when these letters are being sat down and talked about in the mess at training or whatever, for CMCs or whoever, to look at each other like, have you talked to your sailors? And let someone be like, no, I haven't. Why the fuck not? Let's get to that. As well, accountable as a collective mess, as well as individual chiefs within the mess. Why haven't you talked to your fucking sailors about these? You didn't hear what the fuck he said? What, you afraid what your division got to say? You hurt by fucking words and feelings of fucking junior sailors? Thought you're supposed to be a chief. Shit shouldn't hurt you. If it hurts you, fucking go to church. Right? I don't know. Just something, just thinking out loud here. All right. I had that good old monologue. The camera wasn't even on me, man. Let's go. All right. 4, every day we need to invest in our sailors. Technical training, obviously. Yes, good to go on there. Their education. What kind of education? Right? That's my question right there. What kind of education are we talking about? Because that's very open-ended. And what investment in their education do I need? If you're saying I need to invest in their education, me only thinks about Navy education, right? Because that's my investment in them. I need them to be better Navy, better sailor. So I need them better Navy, better sailor, better rating education. Outside of that, I don't care. That's back on you, sailor. You want TA, you want GI bills, you want any of that? That's back on you to figure that part out and how you're doing that. That's not, I can say, yeah, hey, go to your appointment. Hey, yeah, here's tuition assistance. Here's how it works. Here's the education website, this and that. But that part's on you, in my opinion, right? That's not me. I don't need to be like, hey, what's your college class you're taking this week? So many sailors bitch and gripe about the cookie sales and the this and that. I've always been a bitcher and griper about like, okay, cool. So you took a bunch of fucking college this fucking year. So that makes you outstanding sailor of the fucking year? Why? You're shit at your job, average at best. But because you're an aspiring fucking, bachelorette of science in psychology, right? And you think you're smarter than everyone else because you're on your path to that. So that's what sets you apart. Once upon a time in the Navy, that's what it was, right? You couldn't. All they would tell you is you have to have a degree to be a chief. You got to get your degree. You got to go to college, and it weighed so heavily. And we're going away for that. We're supposed to be going away from that, right? But then when we see invest in our sailors' education, again, to me, it's a more specific education of like Navy sailor rating education that we should be focused on, and it should be called out, because if it's not, the sailors sit back and go, yeah, you should be letting me take more college classes. We should do away with having to wait fucking a year or 2 years. And again, I'm not even an expert on, right? I go look shit up as I need to, okay? But I should be able to come in the Navy and immediately within the first month start taking TA classes. No, you shouldn't, because the warfighting competency and everything, as we're going to get into, the technical training comes first. And until you're that, no, I don't need you fucking taking, kinesiology fucking night classes at SDSU or some shit, right? Their physical and emotional health. I got a good answer for that. I'm not licensed for their physical or emotional health, right? How do I invest in that? How do they invest in that? How do sailors invest in that? How do I invest in that? I'm a sailor. How do I have the time to take care of my physical health? How do I have the time to take care of my emotional health? Because I have both those too. Both of them struggling at different times in my life and in my career. If I can't take care of myself, which is one thing it's always said, right? You can't take care of yourself. How are you going to take care of your sailors? Well, it's hard, but now, like, it's always an expectation as a chief that you do put yourself last as a servant leader, which often includes your own physical and emotional health, because you can't make anything, and expected that you are always there more than your junior sailor. But it's pounded to us that it's us that has to make sure they're always taken care of. Again, I like to tell people, I don't take care of them, I lead them. Okay, if you have physical health problems, I get you to doc. We could get you into the classes. You could go to them, right? So that's a medical appointment. You're going to go to your medical appointments. Your emotional health, right? I think they use emotional health on purpose and not mental health, right? But again, like, what's that? They're tied in. Same, right? Anyone disagree? Same. Okay. And the health of the safety of them and their families, right? So some of y'all might not like this, but so one, I'm not licensed to be their physical or emotional health coach, as coaching is all the terms now, or mentorship as it used to be. Now it's all coaching, right? Now emotional, I always look at it as like, it's better to have a conversation and get feelings out and talk about stuff. And I'm always down for that. That's what I'm doing this for, right? But like, if you're, as I've always said, if you're really having problems, then you need to get to the hospital. You need to talk to a professional. And that, I'm not me. That's not me. I'm not professional. Okay? Like, it's not. And health and safety of them. Absolutely, yes. Like, again, more of the safety. I look at the safety of the sailor. Any sailor that works for me, right, with me, I'm responsible for their safety, right? That's why khakis wear the white hats. We're not touching stuff, right? We're not touching the gear. We're sitting back and making sure everything's safe. Sometimes we got to get in there and line handle or this or that. But we should be absolutely the safety of them. Health part, though, again, what do you want me to do? Tell them no on the mess line? Hey, don't have that donut. You're not healthy looking. I can. Probably just eventually, someone's going to say, oh, Chief called me fat. Maybe I did. But if you want me to look out for your health, maybe you need to realize it and fucking not eat the donut, 3 times at breakfast. All right. Here's the part, like, their family, the health and safety of their families. I do not believe that family is my responsibility. That's that sailor's responsibility. My family is my responsibility. Who's in this house right now? All right. I it's not that I don't care that family isn't healthy and safe, but that is that sailor's, that's there, right? That's if you have a family, you should understand this. You cannot look at anyone else and be like, take care of my family. Now, what I can try to help take care of, what I should be taking care of and helping you, are those pay issues, that training, right? Shit that gets you paid so you could take better care of your family, right? Making sure your leave's approved on time so you can take that leave with your family. All of that stuff. Make sure if you got housing complaints, you're getting in touch with housing, and if housing is beating around the bush, that we route that up the proper chain, right, to CMC, to basic CMC, and we get that going. But the health and safety of another person's family, that's not on me. That's on you. There has to be some ownership somewhere in some of this, right? And we take so much on as chiefs, as sailors in general. But you're telling me, like, any sailor out there, that we can now try to take our family responsibility as a mother or father and try to put that on someone else? No way. I mean, like, this one really gets me. Everyone has issues at home going on, right? Can I just walk in tomorrow and tell my triad or something like, hey, the health and safety of my family is your responsibility. And since, we're fucked up and, we're going through this or that, what are you going to do about it? Are you kidding me? What are you going to do about, my family, my wife having to drive, exhausted home to and from work, and then drive our kids exhausted to school after she worked a 12-hour. What's my triad supposed to do about that? That's my job to handle that. And now you might be out there thinking, no, your triad should let you come in extra early. Okay, so what about the next person? So then we have 100 sailors and 100 different liberty expirations. Liberty expiration is liberty expiration. That's what it used to be, at least. Nowadays, it has changed where it's like, as long as you call and you tell somebody, which, again, open book, I tell people, hey, I have this thing going on. I might be late for this or for that, right? And oftentimes those are things like getting my kids to school, or an appointment that happens in the morning with my kids that I don't want my wife doing because I'm trying to help out and be half-assed useful while I'm here, right? So if she just got home and she just worked at 12, and now I expect her to stay up for another 6 until noon because she's got to take the kids to school and this and that, well, yeah, I'm going to try to fucking insert myself and do that and be a parent, because the safety and the health of my family is my responsibility, right? And maybe you're like, well, that's the point. They should let you go. Yeah, I get that part, but that's not on them. That's on me, the sailor, to communicate, right? And them to see and work it out. But just to, like, this blanket, again, maybe I don't like the way it's worded, but like, and health and safety of them and their families. No, I disagree, right? And maybe it could be explained better. I don't know. Maybe I explained myself into what it's actually supposed to mean, but yeah. Anyways, moving on. That one really hits me right there. I just really don't get it. This is our responsibility as chief. Yeah, what did I say? This is our responsibility as chief petty officers. When we invest in our sailors, we create effective combat teams that demand the highest standards and do not accept failure. Okay, here's one I highlighted. I highlighted do not accept failure, and I wrote down. This is what I wrote down. All right, this was like immediate, quick response. I might change my mind as I read this. Failure after exhaustion should be acceptable. Creates, if you have a do not accept failure, it creates a succeed at all costs, no matter what. There is a time and place for that, right? Life or death situations, I'm going to succeed at all costs, no matter what it takes. I'm going to live, right? And if I end up dead, then you could believe that I did everything absolutely necessary to live, right? But if we do not accept failure, then that's like that, like, it creates that, okay, hey, we can't fail, so just, fucking, take care of it, because we can't fail. I can't tell the department head we failed for whatever reason, because I didn't plan correctly, because I didn't have the foresight, because I missed something, I punched in the wrong number, Sailor Jimmy fucking did something wrong, right? If we cannot accept failure, then it creates the just fucking, you know what? It creates the cover-ups, it creates the lies, because now you have by any means necessary, and this is a rampant problem in the LCS community. I'm pretty fucking sure. Okay, A lot of ships out there, a lot of people doing a lot of things, a lot of certifications happening that are we can't fail. The LCS ship program has to succeed by any means necessary. Get them out to sea, get them deployed, so we can say, yep, look up on the hill and Congress and everything. Look, no, the ships are good. They're going. They're working. Right? They're deployed. We got 6 of them over here and 30 of them there, or whatever the fuck ever. Right? Because it's by any means necessary. Right. And so a lot of this that I look at this is like through this LCS community lens right now as I'm working in it. And we've created here a no fail at all by any means necessary. Check the box, sign the bottom, you're certified, go. And that's bad. That's a bad place to be. Right. It's different when you say you demand the highest standards and do not accept, like all out effort, or like maximum effort. Shout out my boy and his new coffee company, Maximum Effort Coffee Company. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if you have the highest standards, then it's okay to accept failure because you know that those standards have been met and you've learned from it, right? Where's that acronym about failure? Like attempted learning or some shit? I don't know. All right, let's get on to the paragraph 5. We'll keep it moving. I want to ensure that every chief understands the focus areas myself and the rest of the senior leadership mess. Oh, I have a problem with that one all the time. Are working towards so we can continue to be the Navy our nation needs and expects when our adversaries decide to challenge us. Writing's on the wall, people. The difference between winning and losing in combat will largely be placed on the backs of chief petty officers. Okay, so the senior enlisted leadership mess. Right, that's a thing out there. It's like all your forces, your fleets, probably your CMC. It's like the mess within the mess, right? Like, you're not. Yeah, you're a chief. You're even a mass chief, but you're not a senior enlisted leadership, right? Like, it's about that. What title, what cookie they call it a cookie when you put it on your breast pocket in your uniform. Right, it's a little like oval. It says command. It says senior, whatever. Like of what you are, the senior enlisted leader of. Excuse me. Right. So again, it's a thing out there. It is. Everyone knows it. He just wrote it, right? The senior enlisted leadership. So it's not like, and this is what I wrote down. I said, shouldn't this sound more like focus of our mess? Right. I want to ensure that every chief understands the focus areas myself and the rest instead of and the rest of the senior enlisted leadership. Shouldn't be like, I want to ensure that every chief understands the focus of our chief's mess. Right. That way it puts it on you. Like, this is your focus. This is not it's not strictly a top down. All right. Hey, the ones that have been around and in the longest, they've come up with these things. So we have to go do what they say. Right. Shouldn't it, if it's a mess like it's supposed to be, in my opinion, shouldn't it be the focus of our mess? Bottom line, point blank, period. Right? So they're like, because they can say, hey, they're focusing on that. Right? All right, then you focus on that because I got fucking PODs and PB for alphabet soups that I have to go to all week long. And that's my focus. So while you're focused on this stuff, and I'm focused on this this actual command deck plate level stuff, which you've been there, you know it. They're not going to jive up all the time, right? Because at 1600, activity for activity's sake, who wants to do CDBs and everything else at 1600, 1700? Where now I'm going to be looked at like, man, fucking chief just making this shit up at 1600. He just wants us here later. No, I'm not, because it has to be done. So when the fuck do we have time to do it? At the end of the workday, when everyone's leaving us the fuck alone, right? And then it's like the collateral queens and kings out there, right? You're so busy doing everything else, none of the work got done. So now that it's 1400 and none of this work is done in the office, the receipts aren't filed, the parts aren't pulled, inventory's not done, guess what we're doing? We're working for 3 or 4 hours. I'll make you sure you get your dinner hour because you want it, right? So you can break for dinner 16:17, have your ass back here at 17:10, and then we'll work another 2 hours to make sure the daily routine stuff gets done. Why? Because everyone was running around doing fucking everything else except their job. Everyone else was running around instead of being a technical expert, a subject matter expert, right? So again, what the focus, I want to ensure that every chief understands the focus areas of our chief's mess that our chief's mess is working towards. That's what I would have wrote. But who am I? I'm nobody. By nobody, I'm not the MCPON. So, and I don't have a team behind me telling me how to to edit it and chop it and make it better, right? Shit, I don't even have a department head to fucking look at my eval to make sure I don't fucking sound like a 10th grade English education, right? I gotta pass that around the mess to the ones that got 11th grade education in English, Anyways, that's that letter. Let's get on letter 2 here. Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Bravo Zulu podcast. Don't forget, we're over on YouTube. If you want to watch it there, you can leave a comment down there. Let us know what you think about these MCPON letters, how you're reacting to them, how your chiefs are reacting to them, and if this should be done more often or more transparency like this is warranted. All right. Don't forget, if you're listening to this, wherever platform, it's always good to leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Like I said, you can leave a comment over on YouTube. All right. Join the discussion over there. And, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We got a page on Facebook, and we're trying to build it up and do good things. Right. If it touched your heart, please share it with someone else so it can touch their heart too. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, turn on bells for notifications, blah, blah, blahs. All right. And for more information on how you can support the podcast, please visit us over at anchor.fm/Bravo Zulu podcast. The information, views, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely of myself, Joshua Moore, and the individuals involved, and do not necessarily represent the DOD, DOR, or those of the respective institutions or organizations. Thanks for joining us.